Captain Taman stared at the dark screen in front of him. The bridge of his mining ship was quiet except for the soft hum of life support systems. Outside the thick windows, nothing but empty space stretched in all directions. Dead stars cast. No light here. This was the graveyard of the Sol system. "Captain, we are approaching the target zone," said First Officer Veltar. The tall alien's blue skin gleamed under the bridge lights. His forearms moved across the control panels with practiced ease. Sensor scans show large amounts of metal debris ahead. Taemin nodded slowly. He had been dreading this assignment for weeks. The Galactic Mining Consortium had sent him here to collect valuable metals from what used to be planet Earth. According to all official records, humans had died out 200 years ago from a terrible plague. Nothing should be left now except rocks and metal floating in space. But Taemin knew something the others did not. His grandmother had been human. She had told him stories before she died, stories about Earth and its people, stories the galaxy wanted everyone to forget. "Beginning standard mining procedures," announced Chief Engineer Dayun from her station. She was smaller than most of the crew, with dark hair tied back in a simple ponytail. Her hands moved quickly over her instruments. "All systems are ready for debris collection." The ship moved forward slowly. Through the main viewer, chunks of metal and rock became visible. Some pieces were as small as a person. Others were as big as buildings. All of it had once been part of a living world. Taemin felt a strange sadness looking at the debris. Somewhere, in this floating graveyard were the remains of cities, homes, and people, his people, even if he could never admit it. "Sir, I'm getting some unusual readings," Dayun said suddenly. Her voice was tight with concentration. "There's some kind of signal coming from the debris field." Veltar turned his large head toward her. "What kind of signal? Communication?" "I'm not sure. It's very faint. Almost like..." Dayun paused and adjusted her controls. "Almost like audio transmission." Taemin felt his heart beat faster. "Put it on speakers." "Sir, it's probably just cosmic interference," Veltar said. "Dead systems often produce strange signals." "Put it on speakers," Taemin repeated, his voice firm. Dayun touched her controls. At first, only static filled the bridge. Then, very quietly, something else came through. It was hard to hear at first, just a whisper in the darkness. But as Dayun cleaned up the signal, it became clearer. It was a voice, a human voice singing. "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me." The bridge fell completely silent. Even the alien crew members stopped their work to listen. The voice was clear and strong, singing an old song that none of them recognized. But Taemin recognized it. His grandmother had sung the same song to him when he was small. "That's impossible," Veltar whispered. "Humans are extinct. This must be an old recording." But the singing continued, and now other voices joined in, men and women, old and young, all singing together in perfect harmony. The song echoed through the empty bridge like a ghost from the past. "I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see." Taemin's hands gripped the arms of his captain's chair. His mind raced with possibilities. Old recordings could not explain this. The signal was too clear, too strong. And there was something else. The voices were singing in real time, breathing between words, adding small variations to the melody. "Sir, should I cut the transmission?" Dayun asked quietly. "No. Keep listening." The song ended, but immediately another began. This time it was different, sung in a language Taemin did not recognize. But the melody was beautiful and sad, filled with longing for something lost. "Captain, we should report this to Consortium headquarters," Veltar said. "If there are survivors in this system, they need to know." Taemin thought quickly. If he reported this, the Consortium would send investigation teams. They would tear apart every piece of debris looking for the source. And if there really were humans hiding out here, they would be discovered. "Not yet," he said. "We need to investigate first. Make sure we know what we're dealing with." "Sir, regulations require immediate reporting of any signs of life in restricted zones." Veltar pressed. "I'm the captain of this ship," Taemin said firmly. "We investigate first." Daun was still working at her station, tracking the signal. "Captain, I think I've found the source. It's coming from a large asteroid about 2 kilometers ahead. But the readings are strange." "Strange how?" "The asteroid shows signs of internal structure, almost like it's been hollowed out. And there are power signatures inside." Taman stood up from his chair. "Take us closer." Slowly. The ship moved forward through the debris field. As they got closer to the source asteroid, the singing grew stronger. Now there were dozens of voices, maybe hundreds, all singing together. The songs were in different languages, but they all carried the same feeling of hope and remembrance. "Sir, I'm detecting atmosphere inside that asteroid," Daun reported, "and life support systems. This is definitely not natural." Through the main viewer, the asteroid grew larger. It looked like any other space rock from the outside, dark and cratered. But Taemin could see small patches that looked different, too smooth and regular to be natural. "Captain, I strongly advise we maintain safe distance," Veltar said. "If there are unknown life forms in there, they could be dangerous." But Taemin was no longer listening to his first officer. He was listening to the voices coming from that dark rock, human voices singing songs from Earth, songs that should have died with their world 200 years ago. "Bring us to docking distance," he ordered. "Sir, you heard me. If someone is alive in there, we need to make contact." As the ship moved closer, the singing suddenly stopped. The bridge fell silent again. Then Daun's communication board lit, up with an incoming signal. "Captain, we're being hailed," she said, her voice filled with surprise. On screen, the main viewer flickered, but no image appeared. Instead, a voice came through the speakers. It was speaking Korean, clear and strong. "Unknown. Vessel, state your business in human space. We don't get many visitors who follow the old songs." The bridge was completely quiet. Even Veltar's 4 arms had stopped moving. Taemin felt his heart pounding. Human space. They called this human space. His grandmother had been right. Not all of them had died. "This is Captain Taemin of the mining vessel Prosperity," he said carefully. "We heard your singing." There was a long pause. Then the voice spoke again. "Taemin. That's a human name, isn't it?" Now everyone on the bridge was looking at him. Taemin felt the weight of 2 centuries of secrets pressing down on him. In this moment, he had to choose. He could lie, pretend to be just another alien captain, and report this discovery to the consortium, or he could tell the truth. "Yes," he said quietly. "It is." The silence on the bridge stretched for what felt like forever. Taemin could hear his own heartbeat in his ears. His crew stared at him with wide eyes. Veltar's blue skin had turned a darker shade, which meant he was shocked. "You're human?" Veltar asked slowly. "But humans are extinct." "Half human," Taemin corrected. "My grandmother was from Earth." Daun looked up from her station. Her face showed no surprise, only understanding. "That explains why you wanted to investigate instead of reporting immediately." The voice from the asteroid came through the speakers. Again. "Captain Taemin, we need to speak with you directly. Can you come aboard our station?" Veltar stood up quickly. "Sir, I cannot allow this. We don't know who these people are or what they want." "They're singing human songs in a dead human system," Taemin said. "I think we know what they are." "Impossible. The plague killed them all. Every record confirms this." Taemin turned to face his first officer. "Maybe the records are wrong." As they talked, more voices began singing from the asteroid. This time it was a different song, one that Taemin remembered from his childhood. His grandmother had hummed it while cooking dinner. The melody was soft and sad, like a lullaby for the lost. "Sir, I'm picking up more signals," Daun reported. "Not just from this asteroid. There are at least 6 other sources of similar transmissions in this debris field." "6 other sources?" Taemin asked. "Yes, sir. All playing music. All very faint, but definitely there." Veltar moved to look at Daun's readings. "This is impossible. There should be nothing alive in this system." But even as he spoke, the songs grew stronger. It was as if the hidden voices were gaining confidence, knowing they had been discovered. The music filled the bridge with melodies, from a world that was supposed to be dead. "Captain Taman," the voice from the asteroid said again, "we're sending you docking coordinates. Your ship is small enough to enter our bay." On the main screen, a set of numbers appeared. They showed a location on what looked like the smooth side of the asteroid. "Sir, we should not dock with an unknown station," Veltar said firmly. "Regulations clearly state—" "I'm going," Taman interrupted. "This is the discovery of a lifetime. We have to investigate. Then we call for backup first. Get a full science team out here." Taman shook his head. "If we call the consortium, they'll send warships. They'll treat this as a threat." "Maybe it is a threat. They're singing lullabies, Veltar, not exactly threatening." Daun cleared her throat. "Captain, I'm detecting some unusual energy readings from the asteroid. It's not just hollow inside. There are multiple levels, life support systems, even what looks like gardens." "Gardens?" Taman asked. "Yes, sir. Growing plants. This isn't just a hiding place. It's a home." The ship moved slowly toward the docking coordinates. As they got closer, Timon could see that what looked like rough asteroid surface was actually carefully disguised metal plating. Hidden doors began to open, revealing a docking bay inside. "Amazing," Daun whispered. "The whole outer shell is fake. This is a space station built to look like an asteroid." Lights came on inside the docking bay. It was large enough for their ship and several others. The walls were covered with plants growing in long rows. Real Earth plants, green and healthy. "Sir, I'm reading atmosphere in the bay," Daun reported. 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen. Earth normal." "How is that possible?" Veltar asked. "Earth atmosphere takes specific plants and systems to maintain." "Maybe they brought Earth with them," Taman said quietly. The ship settled onto the docking platform with a soft thud. Through the main viewer, they could see people waiting for them. Humans walking around in normal clothes like this was the most natural thing in the galaxy. "Sir, there are at least 20 people in that bay," Daun said. "All human. All very much alive." One of the waiting humans stepped forward and waved at their ship. He was an older man with gray hair and kind eyes. Behind him stood men and women of all ages, even children. "Captain, we need to establish communication protocols," Veltar said nervously. "We need to verify their intentions." But Taimin was already moving toward the airlock. "Daun, you're with me. Veltar, stay on the bridge and monitor communications." "Sir, I should come with you for security." "No, they might see you as a threat. Daun and I can handle this." Daun grabbed a portable scanner and followed Taimin to the airlock. As they prepared to leave the ship, she spoke quietly. "Captain, I should tell you something." "What?" "I'm not surprised by any of this." Taimin looked at her carefully. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I've been waiting for this day for a long time." Before Taimin could ask more questions, the airlock opened. The air that came in smelled like growing things, like the gardens his grandmother had described from Earth. It was warm and clean and alive. The older man stepped forward as they emerged from their ship. "Welcome to New Jeju," he said in perfect Korean. "I am Elder Minho. We've been expecting you." "Expecting me?" "Not you specifically, but someone like you. Someone with human blood who would hear our songs and investigate instead of just reporting to the authorities." Taman looked around the docking bay. The walls were covered with growing plants he recognized from his grandmother's stories. Tomatoes, beans, even apple trees. Children played between the garden rows while adults tended the plants. "How long have you been here?" he asked. 200 years, Minho replied. "Since the day they tried to kill us all." "The plague?" "There was no plague," Minho said firmly. "That was a lie they told to cover up what they really did." Daun stepped forward. "Elder Minho, I think it's time." The old man looked at her and nodded slowly. "Yes, I think you're right, Daun." Taman stared at his chief engineer. "You know each other?" "Captain," Daun said gently, "there are things about your crew that you don't know. Things we've been waiting to tell you. What things? Minho gestured toward a doorway leading deeper into the station. Come. Let us show you what really happened. To humanity. Let us show you what we've built while the galaxy thought we were dead. As they walked through the doorway, Taemin heard singing again. But this time, it was coming from all around him. Voices echoing through corridors, from gardens, from workshops. Hundreds of voices, maybe thousands, all singing the old songs. Songs that should have died with Earth. Songs that proved humanity was very much alive. How many of you are there? Taemin asked as they walked. Minho smiled. More than the galaxy thinks. Many more. Behind them, through the station's communication system, Taemin could hear Veltar trying to contact them from the ship. Captain, please respond. I'm reading massive energy signatures throughout this debris field. Sir, there are dozens of hidden stations out here, maybe hundreds. Taemin stopped walking. Hundreds? Oh yes, Minho said calmly. New Jeju is just one of many. We've been very busy these past 2 centuries. The singing grew louder as more voices joined in, not just from this station, but from others scattered throughout the debris field. A chorus of the supposedly extinct, singing their defiance to the empty stars, and for the first time in his life, Taemin felt like he was truly coming home. Elder Minho led them through corridors that looked nothing like the inside of an asteroid. The walls were made of smooth metal painted in soft colors. Children's artwork hung in frames next to pictures of Earth from before its destruction. The air smelled like home cooking and growing plants. This is incredible, Taemin whispered as they walked. How did you build all this? Human engineering, Minho replied proudly. We took the pieces of our destroyed world and turned them into something new. They passed through a large common area where families were eating dinner together at long tables. The conversation stopped as they walked by. Everyone stared at Taemin with curiosity and hope. They haven't seen a new human face in many years, Daun explained quietly. Daun, I need to know the truth, Taemin said. Who are you? Really? She looked at Elder Minho, who nodded. My name is Park Daun. I was born here on New Jeju 32 years ago. I've been working on your ship for 3 years, gathering information about consortium mining operations. You're a spy? I'm a survivor, she corrected. Just like you, even if you didn't know it. They entered a large room that served as some kind of meeting hall. The walls were covered with star maps, technical drawings, and photographs. At the center of it all was a huge image of Earth as it used to be, blue and green and beautiful. Elder Minho sat down in a simple chair and gestured for them to do the same. Captain Taemin, what do you know about the end of humanity? The official records say a plague spread across Earth in the year 2187. Within 10 years, all humans were dead. The planet became uninhabitable. Minho shook his head sadly. The official records lie. Then what really happened? The old man was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was heavy with old pain. The Galactic Council decided that humans were too dangerous to live. Dangerous? How? We learned too fast. We adapted too quickly. In just 200 years, we went from barely leaving our own planet to competing with species that had been in space for thousands of years. Dayan pulled out a small device and projected images into the air above the table. They showed human cities, human ships, human colonies on distant worlds. By 2180, human technology was advancing faster than anyone else in the galaxy, she explained. Our ships were faster. Our weapons were better. Our colonies were more successful. The other species grew afraid, Minho continued. They held secret meetings. They made a plan. The projected images changed. Now they showed massive alien fleets surrounding Earth and human colonies. They called it a quarantine, Minho said bitterly. They said humans had developed a dangerous plague and needed to be isolated until a cure could be found. Taemin stared at the images. But there was no plague. No, there were warships. They destroyed our colonies first. Then they blockaded Earth. No one could leave. No supplies could get in. The images showed Earth cities going dark one by one. Ships trying to escape being shot down. Millions of people trapped on a dying world. But some of us escaped, Daun said. Small groups, using ships that could avoid detection. We scattered throughout the galaxy and hid. The asteroid fields around dead stars made perfect hiding places, Minho added. Especially here, in our own system. Who would look for survivors in the wreckage of their home? Taemin felt sick. How many died? Billions, Minho said simply. But not all. Never all. The old man stood up and walked to another wall. This one was covered with names and pictures. Thousands of them. These are the survivors. People living in hidden colonies like this one. People working undercover in alien societies. People like you who carry human blood even if they don't know the full truth. How many colonies are there? Here, in the Sol system? 47? Throughout the galaxy? We've lost count, maybe hundreds. Dayun activated another projection. This one showed a map of the galaxy with small dots of light scattered across it. Every dot is a human settlement, she explained. We stay in contact using the songs. The songs are messages, yes. Different melodies mean different things. The song you first heard was a greeting, telling other colonies that we had visitors. The lullabies are all clear signals. The work, songs carry technical information. Taemin stared at the map. There were so many dots. The galaxy thinks there are maybe a few million humans left, scattered and primitive, but this shows 50 million at last count, Minho said, and growing. 50 million? Taemin could barely believe it. We've had 200 years to rebuild, Captain. 200 years to grow stronger while staying hidden. Daun brought up new images. These showed human technology that looked far more advanced than anything Taemin had seen before. We've been busy, she said with a small smile, combining human innovation with salvaged alien technology, creating things the galaxy has never seen. The images showed ships that seemed to bend light around them, weapons that could disable entire fleets without killing anyone, and manufacturing systems that could build complex devices from raw materials in hours instead of months. Why are you showing me this? Taemin asked. Because it's time, Minho said firmly. For 200 years we've been hiding, growing, preparing, but we can't stay hidden forever. The Galactic Council is getting suspicious, Daun explained. Too many strange signals, too many unexplained disappearances of mining ships in dead systems. They're starting to investigate. As if to prove her point, Taemin's communicator crackled to life. Beltar's voice came through tight with worry. Captain, I'm receiving priority messages from Consortium headquarters. They want a full report on our mission status immediately. Minho and Daun exchanged glances. They know something, Daun said quietly. What do they know? Taemin asked. Your ship isn't the first to detect our signals, Minho explained. 3 other mining vessels have reported strange readings from dead human systems in the past year. The Council is starting to piece things together. Taemin felt a chill run down his spine. What happens when they figure it out? They'll try to finish what they started 200 years ago, Minho said grimly. They'll come with fleets this time. No more pretending about plagues. So what do we do? Elder Minho walked back to the image of Earth and placed his hand on it gently. We have a choice to make, he said. All of us. Stay hidden and hope they never find us all, or what? Or we come out of hiding. Show ourselves to the galaxy. Prove that humanity is not only alive, but stronger than ever. Daun stood up and moved to another control panel. Captain, there's something else you need to see. The room darkened and new images appeared. These showed massive construction projects hidden deep in asteroid fields. Ships being built that dwarfed anything in the current galactic fleets. We haven't just been hiding, she said. We've been preparing for the day when hiding was no longer enough. Taemin stared at the images of human engineering on a scale he had never imagined. You're planning to fight back. If necessary, Minho said, but we'd prefer another option. What option? We want to try something that's never been done before, the old man said with a sad smile. We want to tell the truth. At that moment, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Da-Yun quickly checked her instruments. Captain, we have a problem, she said urgently. Long-range sensors are detecting a fleet approaching this system. Galactic Council ships. Military configuration. Taemin felt his heart sink. How long do we have? 6 hours, maybe less. Minho straightened his shoulders and suddenly looked much younger than his years. Then it's time, he said firmly. Send the signal to all colonies. Tell them the hiding is over. Throughout the station, the singing began again. But this time, it was different. Stronger, more determined. Not the quiet songs of people in hiding, but the bold anthems of a people ready to be seen. And across the galaxy, other voices began to answer. The singing stopped suddenly. In the silence that followed, Taemin could hear his own breathing and the soft hum of the station's systems. Then Elder Minho's voice cut through the quiet. All stations, this is New Jeju. Execute Protocol 7. The long hiding is over. Dayan was working frantically at her control panel. Captain, you need to see this. The entire debris field is coming alive. She activated the main display and Taemin gasped. What had looked like empty space filled with floating rocks was transforming before his eyes. Asteroids were splitting open to reveal hidden docking bays. False surfaces were sliding away to show weapons platforms. Camouflaged ships were powering up their engines. How many ships? Taemin asked in amazement. In this system alone? Over 300 combat vessels, plus support ships, manufacturing platforms, and mobile colonies. 300 ships? Here? Elder Minho nodded grimly. We've had 2 centuries to prepare, Captain. We didn't waste the time. A new voice came over the communication system. It was younger than Minho's, crisp and military. This is Admiral Hyejin aboard the battleship New Seoul. All human forces are now at full readiness. Estimated time to enemy contact is 4 hours and 30 minutes. Taemin stared at the display. The ships emerging from their hiding places were unlike anything he had ever seen. They moved with impossible grace, their hulls seeming to bend. Light around them. Your ships are invisible to sensors, he realized. Among other things, Da-Un said with pride. We call it ghost technology. A combination of human innovation and 200 years of studying every piece of alien tech we could get our hands on. A man entered the room wearing what looked like a military uniform, but simpler and more practical than the fancy outfits favored by galactic fleets. He was middle-aged with steady eyes and calloused hands. Elder Minho, I'm Commander Junseo from the Engineering Division. We're ready to demonstrate our capabilities. Good. Captain Taemin needs to understand what humanity has become. Commander, Junseo led them to another part of the station. This area was clearly industrial, with workshops and laboratories lining the corridors. But the technology inside was far more advanced than anything Taemin had seen, even on the most modern consortium, ships. This is our main research facility, Junseo explained. We've been developing new technologies based on human principles of adaptability and innovation. They entered a large workshop where technicians were working on devices that seemed to glow with their own light. What are those? Taemin asked. Quantum communicators, Junseo replied. Instant communication across any distance. No time delay. Impossible to intercept or jam. He picked up a small crystal that pulsed with soft blue light. Each human colony has one of these. We can coordinate our entire civilization in real time. The galactic powers don't have anything like this, Taemin said. No, they don't. They've become comfortable with old technology, old ways of thinking. Humans never had that luxury. Da-Yun activated another display. This is our manufacturing capability. We can build a battleship in 3 weeks using automated systems. The display showed massive construction yards hidden inside hollowed-out asteroids. Ships were being assembled by robots that moved with perfect precision. The Galactic Council thinks in terms of years for major construction projects, Junseo said. We think in terms of days. Elder Minho spoke into his communicator. Admiral Hyejin, please show our guest what we've accomplished. The main display changed to show a view of space around the entire Sol system. Hundreds of ships were now visible, arranged in perfect formations. But these weren't the clumsy, bulky vessels used by most galactic civilizations. These ships looked sleek and deadly, like predators designed for speed and stealth. "Admiral Hyjin here," came the crisp voice over the speakers. "Captain Taemin, you're looking at the first human fleet. Every ship you see was built in the last 50 years using resources salvaged from our destroyed worlds." "It's beautiful," Taemin whispered. "It's also just the beginning," the Admiral replied. "This is only one of 7 fleets positioned throughout the galaxy." 7 fleets? "Oh, yes, we've been very busy while everyone thought we were extinct." Commander Junseo pulled up another display. "Captain, the approaching Galactic Council force consists of 47 ships. Standard configuration, nothing we haven't seen before. Can you defeat them?" "Defeat them?" Junseo looked puzzled. "Captain, we could destroy their entire fleet without losing a single ship. But that's not what we want to do." Elder Minho stepped forward. "We don't want to start a war, Captain. We want to end one. The war that's been going on for 200 years, even if only one side knew it was fighting." Taemin's communicator crackled again. Veltar's voice came through high with panic. "Captain, please respond immediately. I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout this system. Whatever's happening out here, Consortium headquarters needs to know about it. Right now." "You should answer him," Dayun suggested. But carefully, Taemin activated his communicator. "Veltar, I'm here. What's your status?" "Sir, my sensors are showing hundreds of ships that weren't here an hour ago. Large ships, all running silent. Until now. Captain, we need to leave immediately." "Negative, Veltar. We're conducting first contact with a previously unknown civilization." There was a long pause. "Sir, these readings suggest this civilization has significant military capabilities. I recommend we withdraw and call for backup." "No backup, Veltar. We're going to handle this diplomatically." Elder Minho touched Taemin's arm. "Captain, your first officer is right to be worried, but not for the reasons he thinks." "What do you mean?" "The approaching council fleet isn't coming to investigate unusual signals. They're coming to finish the job they started 2 centuries ago." Dayun brought up new information on her display. "Captain, we've been monitoring Galactic Council communications. 3 days ago, they received reports of human survivors in this system. Their orders are simple: eliminate all traces of human presence. They're coming to commit genocide." "Again?" "Yes. But this time, we're ready for them." Admiral Hyjin's voice came over the speakers again. "All stations, the enemy fleet has increased speed. New estimated contact time is 3 hours and 15 minutes. Taemin felt the weight of history pressing down on him. "What happens now?" "Now we give them a choice," Elder Minho said firmly. "The same choice we're giving you." "What choice?" "Join us, or stand aside. Because humanity is coming home." On the main display, more ships were appearing as hidden bases throughout the galaxy. Activated. The dots of light that had represented scattered human colonies were now blazing like stars, as each one revealed its true strength. "Captain," Admiral Hyjin's voice called out, "we're receiving a message from the Council fleet. They're demanding our immediate surrender and evacuation of this system." "What's your response, Admiral?" Elder Minho asked. "The same response. Humanity has been preparing for 200 years. We're broadcasting on all frequencies, in every language spoken in this galaxy." The singing began again, but this time it was different. It was the voice of 50 million humans spread across hundreds of worlds, all singing together in perfect harmony. Old songs from Earth, work songs from the colonies, new songs written in the dark years of hiding, but now they weren't hiding anymore. "Captain Taemin," Elder Minho said quietly, "you have a choice to make. Go back to your ship and report this to the consortium, or stay and help us show the galaxy that humanity is not just alive but stronger than ever." As the songs filled the space around them, Taemin thought about his grandmother's stories, about a blue world full of life and hope, about people who refused to give up, even when the entire galaxy wanted them dead. He thought about Dayun, who had risked everything to gather information for her people. About Elder Minho, who had spent his entire life keeping human culture alive in the darkness between the stars. And he thought about the choice that would define not just his future, but the future of every human in the galaxy. The songs grew louder, and in them, Taemin heard the voice of his grandmother calling him home. Taemin closed his eyes and listened to the voices singing across the stars. When he opened them again, his decision was clear. "I'm staying," he said firmly. "This is where I belong." Elder Minho smiled and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Welcome home, Captain." Daun activated her communicator. "Admiral He-jin, Captain Taemin has chosen to stand with us." "Good," came the Admiral's voice. "We'll need every human we can get for what comes next." On the main display, the Galactic Council fleet was growing larger as it approached. 47 warships in tight formation, their weapons already charging for battle. "Sir," came Veltar's panicked voice over the communicator. "The alien fleet is hailing us directly. They're ordering us to identify any human survivors immediately." Taemin took a deep breath. "Veltar, I need you to listen carefully. Prepare the ship for departure, but don't leave the docking bay." "Captain, what's happening? These readings don't make sense." "Just trust me, old friend. Everything will be explained soon." Admiral Hyojin's voice filled the station. "All human forces, prepare for Operation Homecoming. This is not a drill." Throughout the hidden stations, the response was immediate. Ships that had been concealed for decades powered up their engines. Weapons platforms that looked like asteroids revealed their true nature. The entire debris field transformed into a massive military formation. "Captain," Commander Junseo said, "would you like to see how we announce ourselves to the galaxy?" Before Taemin could answer, every human ship began broadcasting on all frequencies. But instead of threats or demands, they broadcast music. The same songs that had been hiding human communications for 2 centuries now rang out across space as declarations of survival. The lead council ship sent a message on the emergency channel. "Unknown vessels, you are trespassing in a quarantined system. Identify yourselves immediately or face destruction." Admiral Hyojin's response was broadcast for everyone to hear. "Council Fleet, this is Admiral Hyojin of the Human Defense Force. You are trespassing in human space. We suggest you reconsider your intentions." The silence that followed lasted for several minutes. Then the council commander's voice came back, shaky with disbelief. "Impossible. Humans are extinct. This system has been dead for 200 years. Reports of our death have been greatly exaggerated," Admiral Hyojin replied calmly. "As you can see." On the display, Taemin watched as more human ships decloaked around the council fleet. They appeared from every direction, surrounding the alien warships completely. The council ships suddenly looked very small and outnumbered. "Council Commander," Admiral Hyojin continued, "your fleet is now surrounded by 300 human vessels. Our weapons are powered and locked onto your ships. However, we have no desire for bloodshed today." Elder Minho stepped forward to speak into the communication system. "Commander, I am Elder Minho of the Human Colonial Council. 200 years ago, your people told the galaxy that we had died from plague. That was a lie. You tried to exterminate us because you feared our growth and potential. The quarantine was necessary," the council commander replied, but his voice lacked conviction. "Human expansion was becoming a threat to galactic stability. So you decided to commit genocide," Daun said coldly as she joined the conversation. "You destroyed our worlds and killed billions of innocent people. But you didn't kill us all," Taemin added, finding his voice. "And now we're stronger than ever." On the display, even more human ships were appearing as hidden bases throughout. The galaxy revealed themselves. The tactical screen showed human forces near dozens of major galactic trade routes and military installations. "Council Fleet," Admiral Hyojin announced. "You are looking at just one of 7 human battle groups positioned throughout known space. In the past 2 centuries, we have built a civilization that surpasses anything the galaxy has ever seen." To demonstrate their point, several human ships performed maneuvers that should have been impossible. They moved without visible propulsion, turned at angles that should have torn them apart and seemed to phase in and out of normal space. "Your technology," the council commander whispered. "How did you advance so far?" "Necessity," Commander Junseo replied. "When you're fighting for your species' survival, you learn to innovate quickly." The human ships began broadcasting again. This time not just songs, but images. Pictures of thriving human colonies, children playing in asteroid gardens, engineers building impossible machines, artists creating beauty in the darkness between stars. "For 200 years, Elder Minho said, we have preserved human culture, human knowledge and human hope. We have grown not just in numbers but in wisdom and capability." "What do you want?" the council commander asked. "What we've always wanted," Admiral Hyojin replied. "The right to exist. The right to live and grow and explore the galaxy alongside other species. The right that you tried to take from us." Taemin stepped closer to the communicator. "Commander, I'm Captain Taemin. 3 hours ago, I was a mining ship captain working for the Galactic Consortium. I believed the official story about the human plague. But now I've seen the truth." "The truth?" "That humanity never died. We adapted. We survived. And we're offering you the same choice our ancestors never got." "What choice?" Elder Minho's voice was firm but not unkind. "Coexistence or conflict, peace or war. The choice is yours." The communication channel fell silent. Taemin could imagine the frantic discussions happening aboard the council ships as they realized they were facing not a few scattered survivors, but a fully developed human civilization that had spent 2 centuries preparing for this moment. Finally, the council commander spoke again. "What are your terms?" "Simple," Admiral Hyojin replied. "Official recognition of human sovereignty over our traditional territories. Trade agreements on equal terms. And most importantly, the truth about what really happened 200 years ago." "The truth?" "The galaxy needs to know that the human extinction was a lie, that genocide was committed in the name of galactic security, and that despite your best efforts, humanity has returned stronger than ever. More human ships were arriving from distant systems, answering the call that had gone out across the stars. The songs that had once been whispered in hiding were now being broadcast as anthems of triumph. We're not asking for revenge," Elder Minho added gently. "We're asking for justice, and for the chance to take our place in the galaxy as equals, not as victims." On Taemin's communicator, Veltar's voice came through, amazed and confused. "Captain, I'm receiving reports from across the galaxy. Human ships are appearing everywhere. How is this possible?" "It's possible because they never gave up," Taemin replied. "Even when the entire galaxy wanted them dead, they never stopped. Hoping never stopped growing, never stopped singing." The council commander's final response came after what felt like hours. "Admiral Hyojin, I am authorized to begin negotiations for a ceasefire and formal recognition talks." Across the human fleet, the singing reached a crescendo. Voices that had been silenced for 2 centuries now rang out in celebration. Songs of home, songs of hope, songs of a people who had refused to die. Elder Minho turned to Taemin with tears in his eyes. "Your grandmother would be proud. Humanity has come home at last." As the human ships powered down their weapons and moved into peaceful formation, Taemin looked out at the stars where Earth had once shone. The planet was gone, but its children had survived. They had built new homes among the asteroids and brought their songs with them. The age of hiding was over. The age of humanity's return had begun, and throughout the galaxy, in hidden colonies and secret bases, 50 million humans lifted their voices in the ancient songs that had kept their culture alive in the darkness. They were no longer whispers in the void. They were the triumphant chorus of a species that had refused to be silenced.